Okay, I'm going to go there with you. I'm going to go there with you this time. I'm not going to go there with you too often, but this time I guess we're going to take a look at it. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Basically what happens is a bunch of machines are mining this currency out, and this currency is basically designed, from all intents and purposes, to hedge against human error in inflation, basically. It's basically meant that, okay, you're going to get this amount of money every year. This is the amount of money that's going to turn over based on everything that's doing everything. And they can kind of plan out the currency as it goes along. Whereas if you've got a government in control in charge of a central bank, they can raise or lower interest rates and affect all sorts of, inflationary things. And that's apparently kind of what this speculative stuff is supposed to be about. I'm sure there's more to it. I'm sure people that are well versed in Bitcoin, I don't know how you can be well versed in something that's shrouded in nothing but, double talk, but they apparently can be. Bitcoin is another type of currency that, unless there ever becomes a one world government, I don't see it ever really playing into any kind of major countries. As far like, why would Canada adopt Bitcoin as their second currency, like we have French as our second language? Why would we do that when we have a currency already that retains value based on what Canada does and what Canada owns and what Canada is in the scale of everybody else in the world? And Canada's currency already holds a value to everybody else in the world because Canada's been around for umpteen number of years. Why would Canada adopt a Bitcoin, basically a rogue currency, to come in and start to become a part of the monetary system? That doesn't make sense. And that's going to go part and parcel with the United Kingdom and the United States and the euro and everybody else that's involved. And nobody's letting Bitcoin just walk in and take over. Like, Bitcoin's out there on the absolute fringes of stuff. But to me, that doesn't mean a whole lot of anything. Maybe it does to you. As far as I'm concerned, if you're involved in Bitcoin, if you're involved in any other cryptocurrency, it's speculation. I mean, you're betting on some one world government stuff, as far as I'm concerned, because I don't see the implementation of it into the monetary system in any mainstream venue to be relevant. Why would it happen when there's already strong monetary systems in place with multiple checks and balances and people to be accountable? And we don't have any issues now. So you're building a better mousetrap, apparently, for what? I'm not entirely sure. We're already doing fine. But Bitcoin has reached an all-time high. Bitcoin is over $4,700 a coin. It's one of these things. Later on, 20 years from now, when we revisit this, I'm sure we'll all laugh. But now, it's $4,700 a coin. There was a point in time where Bitcoin was a fraction of a percent of that. And Bitcoin just went through, not a stock split. A lot of these cryptocurrency guys have big problems with the stock split stuff at the beginning of August there. This is some sort of a fork. It's more just, conjecture for no reason. When you do a stock split out of a real company, you do it to make retail investors, to make it more tangible for them. When Apple did their stock split around 700, right, a 7-to-1, all of a sudden now it's more tangible for a retail investor to get involved. Companies want you to feel like the products that you purchase, the companies, the brands that you identify with, aren't out of reach for you. In this instance, Bitcoin just created a derivative product, another Bitcoin Cash, some other. It basically just made a new thing for itself. It's like, hey, we're already obscure enough. We're already off in our own world where, and I'm sure people will debate on this, that it's some sort of revolutionary currency that's going to change the monetary system globally. But, it's on the absolute fringes of the mainstream. People have heard of it. Nobody I know has ever used it. I'm sure if you think you've used it, you're you know, you're way above, you know, the indie band before they were mainstream. We get it. We get it. Bitcoin is $4,700. That's their top end. They've broken some records for themselves, which is great for people who trade, I guess, in Bitcoin. I mean, speculative 100%, even though these numbers, unfortunately, are not going to back up what I'm saying. I'm killing myself here saying this because the numbers aren't going to back it up. But I beg of you, and I've done this in other videos, please, before you hear some of these numbers, do your due diligence. Think this through. Think everything that you're going to do with your hard-earned money that you worked, the sweat of your brow. My man, I know you've worked, or ma'am, you've worked very, very hard. Do not just throw it away willy-nilly. Please consult with a licensed professional financial advisor. I beg of you, please. But Bitcoin at 4,700, that's over their high watermark. And they've got this new derivative Bitcoin Cash stuff floating around that's just another piece of Bitcoin that actually never took any value away from the original Bitcoin, just made new stuff. Anyways, Bitcoin's up 70% on the month. You know, sometimes it is what it is. You know, in Canada, we had this company called Bre-X in the 90s. They found gold in a bunch of places and it went crazy and nobody ever thought to go look to see if the actual gold was there, and it wasn't there at all. There was nothing to it. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing to this, and obviously tangible gold in a mountainside and this intangible nothingness are two totally different things, but they're very similar in the sense that there's no proof in any of this. There's nothing tangible to say that this is a value play yet where you should 70% on a month. Ha! Well, Cody, you clearly don't know what you're talking about, and that might very well be true. We've all been proven wrong. If you've been in the stock market long enough, you know you're right about 55, 60% of the time. You're not out here right all the time. So up year to date, 350%. I have no excuses for my shortcomings, for what I do and don't know. I'm not in this. I can tell you right off the bat, and I would tell you if I was in something. I'm not in this. I've never been in this. It scares me. This definitely scares me. This is a place where the most nominal percentage of your I don't care about this money part of your portfolio would be. But in this instance, if you're in it, and there's a lot of people that deal in Bitcoin, and on the trader level, I'm not entirely sure if in other cultures, I haven't done the research on this, so don't quote me on any of this. I know just for my sake, here in Canada, anybody I know, I'd like to think I know a person or two. I'm not stuck in my home here, friendless or anything, even though if you want to be my friend, I'm cool with that maybe. But I know a person or two, and I've never heard of anybody using Bitcoin. I've heard of it mentioned in conversations where no one really even knows what it is or what they're talking about. I probably fall into that category somewhat, but this Bitcoin just, it baffles me. It baffles me as to where it could be going or what people see in it and how it's not just entirely speculative. And it's just this strange bubble that they made something new and people have just been feeding the monster. I don't know, 350% year to date. Apparently institutional interest is growing in this. They've done some research. There's 55 cryptocurrency funds out there you can be invested in. And I'm sure that's more than just Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of these currencies out there. How can there be more? Like, who thinks they're going to win this race even up compared to Bitcoin? What? I have no idea. You know what? Subscribe to Wall Street Breakdown. My name's Cody. I'd like to continue this discussion further. If you have more information about this, if you know better than I do, I'm interested in hearing from you. You know what? Prove me wrong. The only way that you make money anywhere, the only way that you find out the road less traveled sometimes is the path that's the easiest to follow. You just need to actually break down those first little bit of barriers to find that way. Maybe it's a lack of my understanding. Maybe those with a better understanding can lead me to the light. As of right now, Bitcoin is at its all-time high or right around there. I am way too afraid to invest in it, but you might know better. Thanks for watching Wall Street Breakdown. Like I said, subscribe and hit me up in the comments.